Alright, so, according to the schedule, today I'm going to be reviewing a movie based around the September 11th terrorist attacks. You can tell because the movie is literally called 9/11. But no, it's not the 2002 documentary, but the 2017 movie starring Charlie Sheen, Whoopi Goldberg, and Gina Gershon. Based on the play Elevator by Patrick Carson, which I haven't seen, the minute the trailer dropped, it was immediately swarmed with controversy regarding its casting. One, in getting mostly comedic actors to play the leads, and two, about Sheen's involvement in the 9/11 truther movement. The director is Martin Gigi, who before this worked mostly in music and directing shorts, documentaries, and short documentaries. He also co-wrote the film with Steven Golubiowski, in which this is his first feature writing credit. When the film was finally released, it ended up only making about $170,000 at the box office, and critic and audience reception was overwhelmingly negative. Due to the heavy subject matter, I think it's best to go into this review with a bit more of a serious tone. Well, don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna make jokes. This is 9/11, the 2017 Charlie Sheen movie. Sheen plays a businessman named Jeffrey Cage. What's his real name? Who is finalizing the divorce between him and his wife Eve, played by Gina Gershon. Jeffrey isn't ready for divorce, much to the dismay of Eve.
Jeffrey, I'm sure you're aware there's no smoking in here.
I used to have 3 floors in this building.
Thanks for letting me know that.
Really, Jeffrey? You're gonna do this in the 9th hour?
It's the 11th.
9th and 11th hour. Is that foreshadowing or just a really stupid joke?
Oh my God, Jeffrey, you hardly spend time with JG as it is. You were away for business when he was born. You were in Toronto when he took his first steps. In Hong Kong when he said his first words. In San Francisco for his first day of school. Shall I continue?
Sorry I had to work in order to get us money. Really? You're gonna have the workaholic dad cliche? One of the worst cliches in a 9/11 movie? We also meet Michael, a bike messenger, which reminds me I still have to do a Norty's Forgotten Flicks on Premium Rush. Tina, a Russian woman who tells her dog that she's going to get her life back. Mitzi, played by Whoopi Goldberg, who watches the elevators at the poorly green-screened World Trade Center. And finally, Eddie, a janitor.
My official title? Custodial engineer.
Fine, a custodial engineer.
I think my Mets are 71 and 73. We're almost playing 500 baseball.
Her name's Mitzi, and she's a fan of the Mets. Really? Jeffrey, Eve, Michael, Eddie, and Tina all get into an elevator going up when the plane hits the North Tower. That seems pretty mild for a plane hitting the building, but whatever. They try to contact Mitzi, but she's having problems of her own. And with the cell towers jammed, they have no communication with the outside world.
If it is a broken cable, can we fall?
That only happened once. In 1945, the Empire State Building got hit by a B-25 bomber, and the elevator fell roughly 80 stories, but the lady survived.
How did she make it?
Apparently she laid on the floor, on her back, and didn't break a single bone.
Yeah, she did. Jeffrey tells them that all modern elevators have automatic brakes in case of a cable snap. I'm sure that won't come in later.
So how much do you actually know about the elevators in this building?
I know they go up, and I know they go down. That's about it.
They try to open the doors, but they won't go far enough for any of them to get out.
Probably got one of the ones that have a lock on it.
What does that mean?
Some of the elevators, they have locks that prevent the doors from opening. The lock engages when the elevator is disabled.
Didn't you just say the only thing you knew about the elevators is that they go up and down? As news breaks about the crash, Mitzi tells the firefighters that the elevators are down, and they'll have to take the stairs. Back on the elevator, the lights go out, although I'm not really sure why. And then they immediately come back on. I mean, I get the building's on fire, but that just seemed to happen at the most random time. Jeffrey brings up the 1993 bombing, thinking this is another attack.
Wait, what happened in 93?
Really? I mean, I know you're Russian, but you don't know about one of the biggest terrorist attacks on the country in the past decade? I mean, there was a memorial downstairs of the building you're in. Oh, and watch this edit.
1, 2,
Come on!
Christ. 3.
Yeah, cut between two characters in front of the same background. It looked like Eve just turned into Tina. They finally get in contact with Mitzi.
Eddie! We Where the hell are you?
Oh, Mitzi, we're in big trouble. The elevator's broken, we can't get the doors open, Charlie Sheen's in here, and I just realized I look like how Michael Pena will in 30 years. Was that racist? Who cares? Mitzi tells them about the plane and that it will probably be a while before help arrives.
You know, I remember seeing you around. You probably don't remember me, but I remember you. You know, King of Wall Street, man. You were the shit, Mr. Cage. Yeah, man.
Yeah, get it? Because Charlie Sheen was in Wall Street. I guess that reference was kind of inevitable.
How do you accidentally crash a plane into one of the largest buildings in New York City?
You already brought up the 93 bombing. You should know this is an attack. We get more about Jeffrey and Eve's divorce.
You guys are so lucky you get to fight in one language. At home, my wifey, she comes at me in Spanish and in English. Let me tell you something. Don't ever get a Puerto Rican girl mad at you. She starts with all that Spanglish stuff, untranslatable. Trust me, okay? I'm not kidding on that.
There are people falling hundreds of feet to their deaths outside. Why am I watching a movie about people's relationship issues? So they go around telling them about themselves as Michael tells them about his daughter.
Chantel.
That's a beautiful name. Well, maybe they'll get us out of here and just still make it in time.
Please, 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 just stop. It's okay. I know something about missing birthdays, so I'm okay.
Is a bike messenger really that busy that he constantly misses birthdays? We then see news footage of the second plane hitting the South Tower, which rocks the elevator in the North Tower somehow more violently than when a plane hit that building. Figure that one out. One thing you'll notice is that this movie likes using real news footage, which is fine. I mean, United 93 did that. But this seems to just hold them for long periods of time. It feels a little exploitive.
Listen, baby, I need you to try to get the hell out of that elevator.
What happened to the help you said was coming?
I think their hands are full.
What do you mean their hands are full?
Baby, I think we're under attack.
What? 93, guys.
Never mind. Mitzi tells them about the hatch above them, but it's locked and they can't hit it open with a mallet. Then try harder. I know it's tough, but you guys gave up after only 10 seconds. They then try and scream and bang the walls, which is not very pleasant.
Anybody? Shut the fuck up!
They ask Mitzi to get the manual so they can learn how to open the doors, and then it cuts to the firefighters climbing the stairs for no reason. Eve's phone starts ringing and it turns out to be her mom. Everyone except Tina gives them her number so she can call their loved ones, and then Eve asks if they can talk to their son.
Mom?
Hi, sweetheart.
Hey, buddy.
Mom and Dad, are you guys watching this? Dad, your old building's on fire.
Oh God, that's just awful. That was really awful.
So, I went to my doctor this morning. He said that he was going to need a urine sample, a blood sample, and a stool sample. And I said, you know what? Why don't you just take my underwear?
Again, people are dying. Like real people. Why is this a fictional story? If you don't know the story, there actually were a group of people that were trapped inside an elevator that managed to break through the sheetrock in the walls and escape before the towers collapsed. It's a very inspiring story, and I don't understand why they didn't just make a movie out of that. You may have had to make some stuff up to give the characters more character, but other than that, I think that would have made a much more interesting movie. Eddie tells them that he lost most of his money gambling, so he was never able to take his wife to Hawaii like he promised.
And all I'm thinking is like, yo, I'm gonna double my daughter's college fund with this one bet. Walk into my house with a big stack, be this hero. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm always thinking in my mind, you know, a hero.
Is that gonna mean much later? Okay. We also learned that Tina was going to break up with her sugar daddy, who has been causing her a lot of stress. Do you really need to add more drama into a 9/11 movie? I mean, yeah, Titanic had a lot of made-up stuff to add suspense, but that was a more well-made movie, and the fictional characters didn't distract from the tragedy of the ship sinking. With this movie, I have to ask, why is it even set on 9/11? I mean, would anything have changed if they were trapped after an earthquake or in the same situation but a fire broke out, so they were stuck there? There are a million other ways for this to happen other than setting it on 9/11. As for Michael, he hurt his knee while riding.
I'm a messenger. I'm a bike messenger in New York City. I mean, shit happens. I'm not sitting in the back of no black limousine like you.
Did you get hit?
Yeah, hit and run. Cabbie. Pakistani motherfucker, too.
If you hurt your knee, then why are you still a bike messenger? You're in New York City. I think you can find another job. Hold on a minute, I just realized something. This is a movie about 5 people trapped in an elevator, a younger woman who is planning to break up with her rich lover, a younger man who is involved in a hit and run, a businessman who makes jokes at the most inappropriate times, a shrill older woman, and a minority who works for the building. This is the worst remake of Devil I've ever seen, and I like Devil. Say what you will about it, it at least built up a creepy and claustrophobic atmosphere. This hasn't.
Not everybody has, their own private plane, so I should just hush, right?
Do you know why I have my own jet, Michael?
White. Rich guy.
This guy doesn't come from money. His dad worked in a factory. His mom died when he was 12. He went to a public school, and when he barely graduated, he went to work alongside his father and all of his brothers, and that was it. That was decided. He refused to accept that story.
How do you go from barely graduating to owning your own airline? That's not a miracle. That's an old economy Steve meme.
So at 18 years old, with $60 in his pocket, he hopped on a bus to New York City. You could be mad at everything that you don't have, or envious of people who have way more than they need, but you have no idea what people go through to get to where they are.
Are you really trying to make some kind of political statement in your 9/11 movie? Smoke starts to fill the elevator as they pry the doors open as much as they can.
Goddamn!
What's going on?
This is sheetrock.
Again, why didn't you just make a movie based on that real story? Letting it go. As Mitzi sees that their third plane has crashed into the Pentagon, she tells them that there's a locking mechanism on the outside, top left side of the door. So Eddie tries to reach it, but is having a little trouble.
Eddie, you make it out of here, and you want to still keep gambling? You look me up. I will put you in a whole different casino, and you'll bring home a lot more winners than losers.
Yay, enable his gambling addiction. Eddie unlocks the door, which I guess is his hero moment that they hinted at earlier. You were right, it didn't add up to much.
Yeah, but Mom and Dad are okay, right?
Mom and Dad had a serious meeting today.
Where was the meeting?
When you spoke to them. Remember?
Yeah. Dad said he and Mom are coming home.
You don't give a shit about your parents, do you?
Michael. Did you ever hear the one about the billionaire who hires a bike messenger?
No.
You just did.
Yeah, again, he has a bad knee. Just hire him for your airline or give him $100 grand. They manage to make a small hole and Eve tries to squeeze through, but the cable snaps, just barely allowing her to escape. Why? I mean, I know the building's on fire, but that doesn't mean the cables will just break. Alright, we gotta pad this out to an hour and a half. Carry on.
They say it's not the fall that kills you.
What is it then?
It's that certain stop at the end.
You mean falling isn't what kills you, but hitting the ground at max velocity does? No shit! The cable breaks as they are flung down the shaft. Yeah, I guess it is a little funny, but the brakes manage to stop them just in time. The south tower collapses, causing the least amount of vibration that could possibly happen when the building right next to you falls down. Mitzi leaves as the rest of them wake up.
I want to go home. I got my kid, please.
Eddie, if God can't hear you, I'll settle for a saint.
You know, most of the acting in this isn't that bad, but that just emphasizes how freaking horribly miscast Sheen is. Eve goes out into the green screen of destruction as she finds a firefighter to help her. They hear screaming and open an elevator, but it turns out to be someone else. Well, lucky for that guy, I guess. But they find the rest, get Tina, Eddie, and Michael out, but then the elevator falls some more because this movie is stupid.
Eve, you have got to get out.
I am not leaving you, Jeffrey!
Sweetie, the building is coming down. You have got to go.
How do you sound drunk? They all run out, leaving the firefighter to try and save him. I guess this is a character I'm supposed to care about now. He goes on top, opens up the hatch, and grabs Jeffrey's hand, but he's just too heavy. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. That was one of the worst endings I've ever seen. It's manipulative, unnecessary, contrived, and leaves me feeling cold, which is something that shouldn't happen when I'm watching a movie based on a real event where real people died. Well, I guess Michael and Eddie aren't getting their money, and Eve will have to go home telling their son his dad is dead. I mean, this is assuming they survive, since we don't see the aftermath, and they only just left like 30 seconds before. Even if they made it out of the building, they could have been crushed. Yeah. There's a lot wrong with this movie, but actually watching it, the emotion I felt most was just boredom. The fact that it exists is more infuriating than the act of actually watching it. I don't think I've seen a movie this misguided in a long time. Even Collateral Beauty wasn't this tone deaf. From the horrible miscasting to the amateur direction and editing to the terrible handling of tone, and the fact that it takes place on 9/11 with completely fabricated characters and even changing the name from the play it was based on feels more like a marketing gimmick than actually trying to honor those who lost their lives that day. That last minute title screen is probably the most insulting part about this movie. This is what I thought I'm Not Ashamed was gonna be. And for all that movie's faults, like using a tragedy to push a religious message, or being melodramatic, at least it had a fully realized character played by an actress who did better than anyone in this film, and actually tried to show the horror and impact of the tragedy it was based on. This movie doesn't deserve rage, it deserves disgust, and it doesn't need any more of my time. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.